As I was praying this morning and thinking about the commentary that I've written on a bill going through the General Assembly, made past the General Assembly, that says biological males cannot compete in sports against biological females. And I understand the governor has indicated his support for the bill. And but I would like for us all to think a little bit deeper about what's taking place here, and not to be critical of anybody, but to urge us to all think a little deeper about what's taking place. You see, the question or the comments that are generally made is that this is not fair to women. It will destroy women's sports. Now, of course, that's only true if we think of women as a biological sex. If what a woman is what a person thinks they are subjectively in their head, then this makes sports equal, more fair. Right? So it all really comes down to what you believe about the nature of male and female. I mean, think about it. There are lots of ways to make sports fair if the end or the purpose, if the principle being violated that the law needs to fix is fairness. Well, we have sports that are designated to be fair based upon age. I think back to my daughter swimming. There were certain age groups. And so as a 8-year-old, she wasn't competing against a high school senior. We have sports based on height and weight, like Pee-wee football leagues, right? And girls compete in those Pee-wee football leagues now, right? And wrestling, even in high school, there are weight divisions. So some 112-pound, students not wrestling the heavyweight. So there are lots of ways to make sports fair if, in fact, there is no distinction between men and women biologically. The reason that we should support the bill is it really just about fairness? If so, then the transgendered person would be correct that there are other ways to achieve fairness rather than picking on me or distinguishing me out from other people, because I'm a person too. I mean, I get that argument based upon the worldview that it comes from. The point is really that, or the real issue is there a God who has made us? And as He made us, and has He made us male and female, and in the way He made us male and female, a witness to something that's true about God as much as it's true about us. See, that there's a difference right there between a God-centered theology and a man-centered theology. What God did in making man in His image, and I use that word broadly, man, was that He was communicating something to us about Himself, particularly when He took woman out of man to make her, rather than make her separately, individually from the dust. You see, what God is telling us and revealing about Himself is the glory of God in the unity of His essence and the diversity of His persons. That He's three, and yet in essence, and yet three in one. And so when we realize that God needs nothing to be fully satisfied, because He is the self-existing, independent of all things being, lacking nothing, well, then we see that we were made for the glory of God. That's why we were made in the image of God, that we might know God. And so here's the question, is the goal of the Christian to save women's sports, to make sports fair, or is the goal of the Christian to manifest the glory of God by speaking to the glory of God found in the givenness of male and female? what is the end, what is the purpose, what is the telos of the Christian view of this bill? If it's only about fairness, then I would suggest that perhaps we're seeing things in bits and pieces and not as a whole. That really our understanding of the being of God and the nature of God and the purpose of creation is not informing our, as I've said, our cosmology, our geology, and then our anthropology, but it's about an abstract thing called fairness that can be achieved in any numbers of ways. So I just hope we'll think more deeply about this. And if all it's about is fairness, then we've really, as Christians, said nothing that is of great importance to God in revealing the glory of God and manifesting the glory of God and wanting others to see and to experience the joy of knowing God and the glory of God.